Okay, I'm here today to talk about the new Amazon MGM film Play Dirty, written and directed by Shane Black and starring Mark Wahlberg, Rosa Salazar, Lakeith Stanfield, Tony Shalhoub, Keegan-Michael Key, Nat Wolff, and a bunch of other people. This movie is another attempt at adapting Donald E. Westlake's Parker novels to the screen. I'll admit up front, I've never read any of the Parker novels. Until recently, I didn't even know that Parker was a character who had already been brought to the screen several times over the last half century. But digging into it, I found that Parker is a professional thief, specializing in large-scale, high-profit crimes, and he's the central figure of 24 out of 28 novels that Westlake wrote under a pseudonym, Richard Stark. So let's have a little history lesson, shall we? Parker has been portrayed on screen by Lee Marvin in Point Blank, Jim Brown in The Split, Robert Duvall in The Outfit, Peter Coyote in Slayground, Mel Gibson in Payback, Jason Statham in Parker, and now Mark Wahlberg in Play Dirty. Even Jean-Luc Godard loosely adapted one of the novels with Made in USA back in the 60s, so this character has had quite a cinematic track record. Okay, that sounds like enough backstory. What is this film about? Well, the film opens with a heist gone wrong. Parker and his crew manage a somewhat clean getaway, but a new recruit, Zen, played by Rosa Salazar, double-crosses them, kills everyone but Parker, and takes the loot for herself. Zen's plan is bigger than just greed. She wants to fund a heist at the UN, steal a priceless artifact from her country's dictator, and sell it off to bankroll a revolution. Naturally, Parker doesn't take kindly to being betrayed. He hunts her down only to get dragged into her plan. From there, the two reluctantly team up with a crew that includes Lakeith Stanfield and Keegan-Michael Key, and predictably, the heist spirals out of control, forcing them to improvise. Now, here's what's strange. Play Dirty was dropped straight to streaming on October 1st, almost completely under the radar. I was on Reddit yesterday and there was a review, and someone in the comments said, "This is the first I'm hearing of this movie. You may be watching this right now thinking the exact same thing." And that says a lot about how quietly Amazon MGM has handled this movie. Why is that? Maybe they didn't think that it would play well in theaters. Who knows? But it's odd that this Christmas set movie was released on the very start of October when December feels like the obvious fit. But regardless of that, the big draw for me and a lot of other people was the name Shane Black. He's one of those filmmakers that I and a lot of other people have come to admire. He's an architect of the buddy cop formula, the crime caper, and the action comedy that mixes nihilism with devilish humor. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and The Nice Guys are massive for me. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang especially is one of my all-time favorites. It's probably my favorite Val Kilmer performance and one of Robert Downey Jr.'s best. I should really be rewatching that movie every single year. So the prospect of Shane Black tackling a Parker story, I was excited. On paper, it feels like a perfect match. And I said that as though I was gearing up for a but I do have to say, this film evokes a sense of nostalgia reminiscent of Shane Black's crime storytelling from the 90s. It captures the essence of Lethal Weapon, but with a darker twist. Black excels at extracting entertainment from the stark contrast between high stakes and morally ambiguous actions, and Play Dirty does embody that signature style. There's also the expected Shane Black style subversions in this movie. Characters don't always do what crime movie conventions say that they should. For example, at one point, Parker is interrogating a goon, or he just says something to a guy that's bleeding out on the ground, and the guy snarls, "You'll just have to shoot me." And so without hesitation, Zen says, "Okay," and just shoots him in the head. It's a perfect Shane Black moment. It was dark, it was funny, and brutally efficient, and it definitely got a laugh out of me. And that kind of humor is sprinkled throughout. The banter between Wahlberg and Stanfield works. Keegan-Michael Key adds flavor here and there, but the standout for me, in my opinion, was Nat Wolff, someone who I'm not sure why people aren't talking about more in this movie. He plays the jittery right-hand man to Tony Shalhoub, who plays the corporate villain of this movie. Hey, it's me. I'm editing this video, and I realized that there was something I meant to say during this section, which was that I can't believe that Nat and Alex Wolff have become the actors and movie stars that they have become, considering they are the Naked Brothers Band. And I used to watch the Naked Brothers Band show as a kid. I felt the need to drop this in here because for some reason people always seem to never mention the Naked Brothers Band or the fact that Nat and Alex Wolff were a part of that whole thing. But it has been really cool to see them sort of blossom as actors in their own right. Okay, Back to the review. There's a hotel room scene with Wahlberg and Stanfield and Wolf, and is easily my favorite moment of the movie. Nat Wolff is just sort of going like, don't throw me off the building, please, I'll do anything. And Mark Wahlberg is like, why would I throw you off the building? And he's like, because you threw me off a building already, and you just threw off one of my henchmen off the building. It's way funnier than the way I'm describing it. But another thing to note about this movie is that it is unapologetically violent. Goons get shot in the head. They get tossed off of buildings. There are a lot of goons, too many to count. Sometimes this film feels like a mixture of John Wick and those glossy Netflix action movies like Red Notice or The Gray Man, where characters have like video game levels of accuracy and PG-13 violence. But for me, when the action feels grounded and there's face-to-face shootouts, street-level fistfights and skirmishes, that's when it works. But when it escalates into CGI-heavy set pieces like a subway car derailing into Brooklyn streets, it feels bloated and artificial. And honestly, as a New Yorker, it drives me nuts when a big action scene is set in an intersection that's mysteriously empty of cars or pedestrians. That's just not how the city looks or how the city feels. It really bugs me. Shane Black's strength up to this point has always been tactile, character-driven violence. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, again, is a great example of this, where every gunshot matters. Play Dirty sometimes loses that weight, leaning into digital spectacle instead. But here's my biggest critique, and it's Parker himself. I didn't walk away from this movie understanding why this character is such a big deal. Within the movie, everyone acts like Parker is this untouchable legend, the thing of myth, but I never really felt it. Characters are always just like, oh, Parker's here, oh, Parker's here. But he doesn't come across as especially cunning or threatening or like 3 steps ahead, like a character like Danny Ocean. He just seems all around competent. Like if this movie is meant to launch a franchise, they kind of needed to establish what makes Parker Parker. Instead, it feels like Mark Wahlberg playing Mark Wahlberg, which is fine enough. He's likable, a little tough, but not particularly distinct. And it's not even Wahlberg's fault. He's given a character that just doesn't feel fully fleshed out. That said, I don't dislike Mark Wahlberg the way that a lot of the internet does. Sure, he's made some bad choices in his personal life and some shoddy acting decisions, but he's capable of more when he works with the right director, like Scorsese or PTA or another person people don't like, David O. Russell. Here, though, he's just on autopilot. I was hoping that Shane Black could extract something sharper out of him, but But for me, Lakeith Stanfield and Nat Wolff were easily the MVPs of this movie. Stanfield is essentially the comic relief. Though honestly, every character gets comic relief moments. It's kind of a movie full of like 6 or 7 comic reliefs, but he carries it the best. Nat Wolff, in my opinion, stole every scene that he was in, and Tony Shalhoub, it's always a delight when Tony Shalhoub shows up, especially when he's playing a slimy corporate villain. Without spoiling specifics, I'll just say that the ending of this movie surprised me, which goes back to the whole Shane Black genre subversion thing. The decision that Parker makes in relation to Rosa Salazar's character isn't what I expected from this type of story. These types of crime heist tales, especially ones rooted in pulp novels and ones dumped onto streaming services at the beginning of October, tend to follow a formula. You can usually see the beats coming, but here the ending is both in line with what we've learned about Parker up to that point in the movie and a subversion of the usual trajectory of this type of film. It's bleak, it's a little unsentimental, and it caught me off guard. That said, one of the film's weaknesses is that it just doesn't give its choices or its deaths enough weight. For instance, Thomas Jane is in this movie. You may have seen his name in the credits somewhere online, but he shows up early as one of Parker's crew in the initial heist that they're doing at the beginning of the movie. His name is Phil, and he's a character who's supposed to have a meaningful connection with Parker. Well, he's killed in the opening betrayal, but the film barely lingers on it. We're told that he and Parker have some sort of relationship. Parker ends up going to talk to his widow at one point. The whole character is sort of tossed off in passing. And that character of Phil could have been a powerful moment of gravity to ground Parker as more than just a thief who shrugs and moves on. But instead, the movie kind of just treats it like another box checked. And that lack of weight runs through this entire film. Parker himself isn't depicted as particularly emotional, which, I don't know, might align with the novels, but on screen, it can make the story feel kind of hollow. No doubt it's fun, it's sharp, and it's violent, but it's rarely heavy in the way that it sometimes feels like it's so badly wants to be. So all of that being said, Play Dirty is messy. The editing and pacing feel rushed. The sheen of digital gloss makes it look more like a streaming filler title than a Shane Black joint. It doesn't hit the heights of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang or The Nice Guys, and the Parker character, to me, never fully clicked as a franchise anchor. And yet, I kind of had fun. It's violent, it's funny, and has enough subversions to remind me why I like Shane Black in the first place. Even when it frustrated me, I found myself smiling. Everyone on screen seems to be having fun, and at the end of the day, do you need much more than that? So no, it's not peak Shane Black, but for a straight-to-streaming heist flick, you could do a whole lot worse. If you've got Amazon Prime, throw it on, give it a shot. And if they make another Parker movie with Shane Black and Mark Wahlberg at the helm, I can't say I'd be mad about it. But what did you guys think of Play Dirty? Let me know down in the comments. Do you think that Robert Downey Jr. would have done a better job in the role of Parker in this movie? He was originally cast in the Parker role before he had scheduling issues and Mark Wahlberg had to step in. What do you guys think? And those of you who have read the Westlake novels, let me know down in the comments if you think that this is an accurate depiction of Parker on screen. And when you're done with that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when new videos come out on this channel. Don't forget to check out my podcast. New episodes are coming out every week, as often as I can get them recorded. Follow me over on Letterboxd to see what I'm watching, when I'm watching it, and I'll see you all next time.